All right, welcome everybody. I am so excited to have you here today with Dr. Beth Westie, and she is an amazing and incredible woman, has done some really incredible things. But today we're going to talk about something that maybe you don't know about. I reached out to her because she is an expert in something called seed cycling. And I'm going to say that again, seed cycling, which sounds a little nutty, no pun intended. Whoops. Anyway, when you say it, you're like, what in the world is that thing? But I've heard good things about this method of dealing with your hormones and balancing womanly things out. And what I love about Dr. Beth is that she is really committed to helping women kind of live their best life in their cycle, their own personal cycle. And I'm all about cycles. I love that theory of finding what your own personal rhythm is and really stepping into that. So we are going to talk to Dr. Beth about this and get some understanding of what seed cycling is all about. But before we start, Dr. Beth, would you please give us just a brief introduction of where you've come from and sort of how you got onto this path, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much for having me. I love sharing this message and talking about this and educating women because we are so underserved in this area, right?
Yeah.
We don't learn enough about our bodies, our physiology,
Oh,
and how
yes.
to work with our systems.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I could talk for days on that, but to keep it really concise. So I'm from Minnesota, so I actually live in Minneapolis.
You hear it a little bit.
Yeah, Minnesota. Yeah.
There it is. Yeah.
There it is. There it is. I grew up on a goat farm. Yeah, you know.
Did you?
I did. Yep. Milk and goats, the whole work. And I was an athlete in high school and in college. I went to graduate school, so I went to chiropractic school, where I also got certified in acupuncture, Eastern medicine, and then did some specialty work in hormones and fertility through the Eastern medicine side of it. Then got out into practice. Was in practice for about 7 years before I sold my clinic and started doing this full time.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I got actually started and turned on to this whole women's health gamut was because I had a horrific ovarian cyst after I had my third baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I was under a lot of stress. I had a lot of issues. And no matter what I did, I couldn't get rid of these cysts. And I had them for over a year and a half, where every month a cyst would burst. So it would put me on the floor.
Yeah.
Just put me on the floor. It was awful. And I started, and when I went in, like my husband literally one time got so worried, he put me in the car because I couldn't get in the car by myself, put me in the car and drove me to the ER. And they were like, oh, here's your birth control. Here's your Vicodin. See you later.
Yeah.
That's how you're supposed to live your life. And I got really frustrated, fed up, and just started doing a ton of research, dove down the rabbit hole of, okay, why is this happening? How can I work with my system? Started really diving more into Eastern medicine. So Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, different methods of working with human physiology, women's physiology, and started from there uncovering all these things, applied the principles to myself. I saw amazing results, stopped having cysts. And then I started working with my patients in my clinic doing this. And then it just took off from there and got to a point where I was so busy doing this women's health work, I had to sell my office and do what I'm doing now, working virtually and educating. That's my absolute favorite. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. In a sentence, what do you call yourself in terms of like, what's your title?
Officially, my profession is, I'm trained as a chiropractor.
Right.
And most people, when they think of a chiropractor, all they think of is adjustment.
Yeah.
Right. But we're trained in so much more, nutrition, biochemistry, everything, right? How, functional medicine, all these things. We're trained and have this huge background in a lot of natural health. So the chiropractic piece of it that most people are familiar with is the hands-on piece,
right?
Which is very important, very, very crucial, right? For people. But there's also this whole other aspect to all the other systems in your body, which is that's the other part that I'm looking at when I work with people. So I just, in general, I'm a women's health expert.
There you go. That's perfect.
Specializing in hormones.
In hormones. Yeah. So hormones is a key phrase because people are constantly telling me, oh, my thyroid is out of whack. I have, Hashimoto's or, polycystic ovarian syndrome. There's all these different things that people have, and it's all that same basic hormone adjustment kind of need. So yeah, I love it. Okay. Woman's hormone expert. I love it. So who would you say your ideal client might be?
So most of the women I work with are women who they know that there's something wrong with their hormones. They have, really bad periods. Their cycle's been
Right.
off. The timing of it's off. They're having issues not only with their hormones, but also energy, sleep, right? Their energy just crashes and they have
Yeah.
a hard time getting going. Like, oh my gosh, if I sit down, I'm going to fall asleep and I won't be able to get up. So they just keep going, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of times there's adrenal issues, cortisol issues that are thrown in there too. And then because of these hormonal issues, women will put on some weight
Mm,
because our systems are, designed to store fat. It's a protective mechanism. When that system gets turned on, it
mhm.
almost doesn't matter what you do. You can be eating the cleanest diet, working out all the time, but your system will not lose weight
Mhm.
because your hormones are not healthy, are in an unhealthy point. So what
Mhm.
I focus on for women is getting your physiology back on track, regulated, getting your hormones healthy to a healthy point, and then the rest of your system follows suit and you get
Yeah.
to and able to maintain a healthy weight.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that on your website you have a few different courses. One is like a 14-day, like sort of reset thing. And I mean, that makes so much sense. It's easy for me to wrap my head around doing something for 14 days, and there was a slim down challenge and all kinds of great things on your website. So yeah, I'm really pumped about what you're offering folks. So what would you say to somebody who's skeptical about what you're doing?
What's funny is that when I explain how women's hormones change throughout the month, you get a different body pretty much each week of the month.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Totally true.
right? And then you have different bodies through your lifetime.
Yeah.
So going through perimenopause, menopause, you get a new body then. And women are like, oh my God, yes, that makes sense. I literally have had 0 women ever say, what? I don't understand, right? Every single woman is
Yeah.
like, oh, totally, light bulb. Yes, this makes sense. How
Right.
come no one else has talked about this to me before? I realize I can totally shift what I'm doing in my lifestyle to match with my body, to feel better, all that stuff.
Mhm.
The the most pushback I get is from men. They're like, what do you mean?
They
How
all
is that important?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't I don't get it. I didn't learn about this from my health class in college, so I don't think it's accurate. And I'm like, listen, nobody teaches about this to the level that I think
So
they
they
should.
should absolutely. They
Yeah,
well, women should understand their bodies for sure, way more than we do. So I love it. And we think about it. I mean, you get pregnant, and the first thing that happens is your boobs grow, right? Like,
totally.
so yeah, your body's changing when hormones are changing. So I love it.
Immediately.
I just said boobs. I'm sorry.
Totally fine. Most women don't realize even things like throughout the month. So your weight is going to change throughout the month because, at one point your uterus is going to be, like this big, right? A
Mhm.
certain size.
Okay.
Within 2 weeks, your uterus actually doubles in size.
What?
Yeah.
That's
That's
crazy. But yeah, it
right.
totally makes sense. I can feel that. I mean, when you say that, I'm like, oh, I totally know when that is.
Right.
Wow.
And you have more blood volume. You have just, more fluid in your body. So of course you're going to weigh more. Your body's going to respond differently. You feel different, right?
And you
And it
need a
was like,
different pair of pants.
yes.
Like,
Yes, you're
yeah.
like, I'm bloated. Well, your uterus, you have your major internal organ is twice as big right now, and there's nothing you can do to just make it smaller overnight until your period starts. And then there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh. It's
yeah.
fascinating. Okay. All
Mhm.
right. Can you share some, maybe a client story or testimony about how this has helped them? You mentioned fertility, which is such a huge thing. So maybe you could even hit on that a little bit.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. So a lot of gals, when they are trying to get pregnant, they'll be doing all these things and thinking, oh, I got to take this supplement, take that supplement, without really taking a good baseline of where their system's actually at. So my favorite tool to use when you're tracking your cycle and fertility and all these things is actually basal body temperature.
Hmm.
It tells you actually when you're ovulating. We're so used to being told this 28-day cycle,
Mhm.
but if you're under stress, if you have, say, a thyroid issue or something else going on, you may actually be ovulating earlier or later than
Yeah.
what that timing says. So just by oh, I'm using an app and it's tracking my fertility. Well, it's just going off of from when your period started and it's just counting days. That doesn't mean you
Right.
actually ovulated. What
Mhm.
tells you is your own biometrics, meaning your own body system and that basal body temperature that you take in the morning.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
as soon as that changes, boom, that's when you actually can ovulate and your system turns over, hormones change, and then you're in the fertile zone for real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fertile zone. I love it.
Yeah, the fertile zone. I don't know. That's what I call it. Because I had a friend she's like, I'm really frustrated. I've been trying, me and my husband, they'd been married for about a year. She's like, we've been trying for a few months. And she goes, I'm counting, this is when we're focusing, our fertility activities, we'll say, and really trying to get pregnant. She's like, I don't understand. What am I doing wrong? I was like, well, are you tracking your temp? And she's like, well, no, because I thought that I have this app. And I'm like, okay, well, just start taking your temp and
Yeah.
then let me know after a month. And she took 1 month of data and was showing me like every week. And all of a sudden she sent me this screenshot of her, temperature. And I said, okay, you're actually fertile now and you're on day 18. Not day 14. You're on day 18. You're fertile now.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's actually due in 3 weeks. She just hit 37 weeks. Yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting. Well, okay. Now back to seeds, because we haven't talked about that enough. So can seeds fix hormones?
So there's when we talk about hormones in the endocrine system and the verbiage around like balance or fixing them, it's really hard because our systems are very dynamic and they shift and change. And there's a lot of things that can impact how our hormones work. So stress, sleep, injuries, illness, all of that actually plays a huge role in how your hormones work and function. So if you are wanting to try something, seed cycling, getting on, just adding these seeds in at different points of the cycle throughout the month, the seeds are designed to help your body produce and maintain the correct amount of hormone during that time. So so days 1 through 14, so day 1 would be the first day of your period, so days 1 through 14, it's going to be pumpkin seed and flax seed, 1 tablespoon of each. That's it. And you can add it into anything, right? You can add it on a salad. Yeah. I like to grind mine and I put it in a smoothie. I put it in a shake.
All right.
There we go. Right? Just get that in. Yeah.
So your period starts, you do it for a 2-week period.
Yep.
Okay.
Pumpkin and flax. Yep. And then day 15, you switch over and you do sesame seeds and sunflower seeds.
Okay. I have all
same thing. Yeah. Right. Yeah. You're like, most gals are like, well, I have flax, I have pumpkin. Oh, I might need to get sesame, but I've got these. Yeah. Or if you're allergic to, like, some gals are like, oh my gosh, I'm allergic to sunflower. Can I still do this? Totally. Just don't have the sunflower.
Get the sunflower. Okay.
Yeah. And add in those seeds 15 through 28. And again, it helps maintain and produce the correct amount of progesterone then at that phase of your cycle. So in terms of fixing it, that's a really, that's a hard thing to say, like yes or no, but I can't tell you how many women I've worked with that have said, holy cow, my period was 21 days to 36 days to, all over the place. They start seed cycling and they're like, yeah, it's like anywhere from 27 to 30 days now, like narrowing that, window.
Wow. It's such a simple thing. So really quickly, can you tell us where this thought came from? Is it new? Is it old? Who concocted this?
Yeah. Right. I know, right? This sounds crazy. This is amazing. How come this isn't everywhere?
Crazy.
I don't know.
Crazy. Yeah.
But it should be. It should be everywhere. A lot of these principles actually are more common in different parts of the world.
Sure.
And they've been around for thousands of years. So this is what I started uncovering when I really, really started looking at Eastern medicine, Ayurveda, everything else.
And this Ayurvedic, that's what it makes me think of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It has some baseline in Ayurvedic principles, which their method of healing actually deals with a lot of lifestyle changes too. So, seed cycling, it's just using these seeds, but when you break it down into the actual nutrients, the vitamins and minerals that are in each of these seeds, what's crazy, so a lot of this stuff came around like thousands of years ago, mostly through like trial and error per se. Yeah. But when you study the seeds and the principles that they have laid in place for thousands of years, they're like, oh my gosh, I realized that these certain amounts of, zinc and other nutrients that are in flax and in pumpkin seed help estrogen. Duh. Right.
Yeah. Okay, so actually that's something that I just want to hit on, because I know that estrogen is a trigger word, because a lot of people are like, I don't want more estrogen, I need less estrogen. And so just really quick just mention how, because I know, we deal with natural wellness too, and so I know that estrogen is a tricky thing. People are like, I can't do estrogens at all, or nothing that I want more estrogen. So can you just explain that a little bit?
Yeah. So for a lot of women, they're thinking too much estrogen or estrogen dominance. It's basically that your system has a buildup of too much of it and it can't process it out.
Mhm.
So when you're looking at using seeds, one of the beautiful things, especially flaxseed, it
Mhm.
actually helps your body metabolize and
Ah,
process through estrogen to eliminate it from your system.
wow. Okay.
So yeah, flaxseed is pretty amazing for estrogens. And so it's important you're taking it so your body creates the right amount, but also maintains it, which means it's methylating and detoxing it out of your system and going through all those phases.
Yeah.
And flax is amazing for that. Yeah.
That is very cool. Okay. Is there anything detrimental about eating the seeds at the wrong time of month?
Oh, so that's a really good question. It's really interesting for some women. They're like, okay, well, if I'm supposed to eat this way at this time or this way at that time and
Mhm.
change it, wouldn't I want to keep it the same all the time?
Right.
Right? Why
Yeah.
wouldn't I want to balance my hormones? Right? We're used to that verbiage of
Right.
balancing hormones, like it's the
Yeah.
same all the time. So I should eat the same all the time.
Mhm.
And that's actually a male model mindset of
Mhm.
your health and nutrition.
Mm.
Right? Yeah. Where that's what we're trained in. That's all
Right.
research is done on men. All this stuff is geared towards the male body, which is the same every 24 hours.
Mhm. Mhm.
Whereas the
Like,
female
well, they
body,
have a cycle, but it's a little bit shorter. Right.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
It's not, throughout the entire month, right?
Mhm.
So keep in mind that when women oftentimes start this process, you're gonna have this mental fight back and forth in your brain of, oh, this makes sense. I should do this. Wait a minute. This doesn't seem right
Yeah.
because yes, you're leaning into this whole new way of eating. But
Mhm.
I mean, overall, if you're eating the wrong seeds at the wrong time,
Mhm.
you know, is it going to help? I mean, help or hurt? It's probably not. It's not going to help. But in
Right.
terms of it hurting, I don't mean it's just seeds. It's not gonna. You know what I
It's
mean?
so harmless, but yeah.
Yeah. But if you're doing it at the right time of your cycle because of what it does with the hormones,
Yeah.
you see a big benefit from it. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me curious just because so many people have intolerances, and I'm like, I wonder if it doesn't have more to do with your cycles. Like maybe you can eat this then or that then or whatever throughout your cycle. Just
Yeah.
something to think about. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think that's try it, see.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, okay, so I'm super excited about seed cycling. I feel like we've hit on so much. People are going to be really chewing on this
Yeah.
and trying to digest it all. And I'm going to just keep going
Uh-huh.
on that. But lastly, I would love to hear from you. What's one simple thing that you kind of do on a regular basis, especially in a time as crazy as what's happening right now for us all, that helps you feel your best? And then also share with us how people should connect with you.
Ooh, yes. So one of the biggest things, and this might not sound like an earth-shattering change,
Mhm.
but if you do this even for a few days, you'll notice a change in your energy, in your sleep patterns, and a lot of other things. And it's protein, getting more protein in. This is not about eating more meat per se. So for those of you that are, vegetarians or vegans or more plant-based,
Mhm.
totally fine. Just more protein overall. That's the number one nutrient I find women are not getting enough of.
Mhm.
And, even if you're following a super clean, regiment or, oh, I'm eating really healthy, great. But if you're not getting enough protein or protein pacing,
Mm.
game changer for energy, focus, everything else, actually building and maintaining muscle tone, all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I have had, it's so funny. There's a gal, actually a friend from high school. This is the funniest thing. I remember chatting with her and she was like, listen, I'm having a hard time. I'm just really kind of feeling blah. I'm going throughout my day and then tanking at the end of the day.
Mhm.
What am I missing? What do I need to do? And I was like, hey, are you still protein pacing? And she's like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that. Let me get back on that.
Mhm.
And 3 days later, I checked in with her and she's like, yeah, I think this protein just makes me more motivated. And I was like, motivated? What do you mean motivated? She's like, well, I get through the day, I make the dinner, I put the girls to bed, I cleaned up everything in the kitchen, and I just cleaned this closet I've been meaning to clean out. So I'm really motivated. I was like, oh no, honey, that's energy.
That's just normal. That's how you
That's just
should feel.
energy. You're just feeling better now with
Awesome.
getting enough protein
Oh.
for your body. Yeah.
I love that protein pacing. I think that's really, really smart. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to encourage you all to check in on drbethwestie.com and get your free copy of her cookbook. Dr. Beth's cookbook. I downloaded it already. It's chock full of stuff. It's totally free. Connect with her in other ways too. She has some other really amazing resources talking to you about how to get your body in the right cycles to burn fat and to slim down and all of those different things we've already touched on a little bit. I just encourage you to check it out and get familiar with your own cycles in your own body. And Dr. Beth Westie, because she's just full of great information. So Dr. Beth, thank you so much for sharing with us. This is incredible information and I can't wait to apply it myself and see what happens. I'm actually really hopeful about this nuts idea.
This idea is just nuts. Oh my God. That's like the best tagline I think I've ever heard.
Next book.
My next cookbook. Seeds. That's what I should have named my seed cycling cookbook. Oh, this is just nuts.
Next time. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Have a great day. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.